The Catholic Morning Show.
One of the hardest things to deal with in any life is when a child is lost due to death, a profound sorrow, especially when after birth, but of course when it comes to pregnancy loss and all of these things like this. The church has many ministries and outreaches for people going through that, especially as a new awareness of the grief and the difficulties of parents going through that. However, there's a lot of questions that remain about what occurs, especially when there are children that aren't able to be baptized because they're stillborn or things like this. And today we have a very fascinating story that happened here very recently, although the events began in the past. And we have on with us Father David Axtmann, who's a retired priest who still assists in the ministry at Sioux Spiritual Center, that is going to join us today to talk about the story of baby Brian Thomas Gallagher. Father David, thank you for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Well, I want to thank Iowa Catholic Radio for giving me this opportunity to share this story.
So if people have not had the opportunity to hear about baby Brian Thomas Gallagher, could you please fill us in?
Baby Brian Gallagher was born June 16, 1982, in a hospital on a military base in Fort Knox, Kentucky. He was the firstborn child of Shawn and Mary Pat Gallagher. He was born weighing 7 pounds and 4 ounces. It was a normal pregnancy. He lived less than an hour due to complications during delivery. Knowing Fort Knox would not be their long-term home, this was their military home, the Gallaghers decided to bury Brian in Highmore, South Dakota, near their father's extended family. The burial took place a week later at St. Mary's Catholic Cemetery in Highmore. In 2019, Shawn and Mary Pat Gallagher retired. They decided they would like to be buried at the Black Hills National Cemetery outside of Sturgis, South Dakota. They elected to have baby Brian's remains relocated so that they could be buried next to him someday. The funeral director in Highmore, Tiffany Hofer, was retained to do the disinterment. In the process, the backhoe pierced the casket. In opening the casket to move Brian's body to a new casket, the funeral director found him astonishingly free from any sign of decay or decomposition. 37 years after the burial, his body was entirely intact, lifelike in color and form, with supple skin, full intact facial features, no drying, wrinkling, odor, mold, mildew, or disfigurement. In the words of the funeral director, he looked like he was sleeping. On November 8, 2019, Shawn and Mary Pat Gallagher, after being notified, along with 2 of their children and a sister of Shawn Gallagher, traveled to Highmore to see and pick up the baby. After an emotional witnessing of baby Brian, pictures were taken in his mother, including a picture of the mother holding baby Brian. Baby Brian was placed in the coffin and transported to the Black Hills National Cemetery for burial. A Catholic priest assisted at the burial.
That is an amazing story, just as it is. We're speaking with Father David Axtmann, who's speaking about the story of baby Brian Thomas Gallagher. Father, just continue if you don't mind.
And this story would have probably not ever gone public because it was kept within the family confines and was only brief sharings. But that story changed on March of 2025 when 5 years after the burial, the mother, Mary Pat, attended a presentation given by Bree Edwards at the Catholic Church in Spearfish, South Dakota. Bree Edwards had published a book, 1,000 Pounds, about a loss of her son to sudden infant death syndrome. After the presentation, Mary Pat Gallagher, the mother, shared her story with Bree Edwards. And Bree Edwards asked for permission and said this story should not be kept quiet, it should be made public. So Edwards began to collect witness testimonials, pictures, and other information. In May of 2025, a website was created to tell about this event. The website is babybrian.org. The website shares the testimony of the funeral director, parents, and others. It also shows pictures of the baby after birth and after disinterment, including the mother holding the baby. The website has also other information concerning baby Bryant, including extensive media coverage. The story continues to spread and has gone worldwide. An interview of Thomas Gallagher, the brother of baby Bryant, was done in Springfield, Illinois, and posted on YouTube. It has had over 280,000 views. There's been other media coverage of the story. The story has been presented to the Bishop of the Rapid City Diocese on May of this year, May 27th. The parents received a text from the Chancellor of the Diocese that said, "We had a meeting today and we wanted you to know we have now opened an active investigation with the intention of establishing its miraculous nature. Thank you, more to come."
Well,
and that's really the heart of the story. I went through it about as well as I know how to do the basic facts of it. There's a lot of other interesting aspects to it, but that's the heart of the story.
Well, when we're speaking with Father David Axtmann about the investigation to the miraculous nature of the story of baby Brian Gallagher, who, after 37 years being buried because of reinterment, was discovered to be incorrupt, or at least appearing to be so. So, Father David, what do you think it is precisely about this story that, like you said, was going to just stay with the family, but has caught on for so many people, especially those who have gone through the grief of child loss?
Well, I think the biggest impact for sure is that it has comforted many people, the parents who have lost children in vitro or otherwise. But it's also a story that it resonates with people. It's also a faith-building story because it shows that God is present in our modern world and that He wants us to know His presence. And I was going to just share a couple of things about the parents.
Okay.
The parents were cradle Catholics. They met each other when they were going to college at Mount Marty. It's a small college in Yankton, South Dakota. The father went on to get a law degree from the University of Notre Dame at South Bend, Indiana, and the mother went on to get a master's degree in education. They basically are people that are solid Catholics. They didn't share this story because they didn't know how to share it for 5 years. So these are not people who were looking for publicity. They were just looking to how to share the story until Bree Edwards came into their lives. This probably would not have become public. I might tell you, they just celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary on July 18th, and I was blessed to be their celebrant at their ceremony. And this couple, I did not know them before this story broke. But the times I've worked with them in the last few months when we've been trying to share the story through different venues, it's just been a joy to work with them. There are people that are now thinking that the story is not just for them, it's for many to share. And they really realize is how many people have contacted them about thanking them for sharing the story.
So we're speaking with Father David Axtmann, who is retired priest for the Diocese of Sioux Falls, and he still works for the Sioux Spiritual Center, talking about the story of baby Brian Gallagher. Father, before we let you go, you mentioned the website. So where can people, again, find out more about this, and what can they expect to find on the website? Okay.
I would tell you, if you just type into Google baby Bryant, you'll get lots of stories. I mean, there's different interviews done. One of them is an interview done of which I really like, of the brother who lives in Springfield, Illinois. And he did an interview on a show called Dive Deep. And I might say the Springfield Diocese is also in their Bishop's Bulletin type article published a cover story on this. But on the website, the main site is babybryant.org. On the website, like I said, the testimony of the funeral director and of the parents and of the other witnesses, as well as the pictures, which I think are really impressive because this child really does look like he was just sleeping. And there is no sign of decay or decomposition. And, of course, the emotional thing of a mother holding a baby 37 years afterwards is pretty awesome for me. When I think of the grief that they went through, I think this is a resurrection story. We have the birth, we have the death, and we have this appearance of the Incorrupt baby. And I mean, this couple kept their faith through a very tough time.
Astounding indeed. Father David Axtmann, thank you for joining us here on the Catholic Morning Show.
Thank you for having me.
Listen to the Catholic Morning Show weekdays at 7 a.m. Central on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network, iowacatholicradio.com, or the Iowa Catholic Radio app.
What legacy would you like to leave? As part of the Legacy Society, your gift supports the future of the Iowa Catholic Radio Network. By participating in the planned giving process, you can be assured that when you leave this earth, your charitable gift will continue to support this apostolate and its mission of connecting people to Christ. If you're interested in including Iowa Catholic Radio as part of your charitable gift planning, call me, Belle Marasco, at 515-223-1150. Thank you for your prayerful support.